Game number 168 now in the Sega Megamarathon. Normy's Beach Baby Rama. This looks like an interesting one. And sorry, an Electronic Arts game using the Gems sound engine. That's pretty interesting. Well, it's not developed by EA, but you know they usually use their own or provide it. At Green Gene, they've been streaming a lot. Yeah. Alright, team. So, Normy's Beach Baby Rama, everybody. I have a good feeling about this game. I don't know why or what the feeling is exactly, but I have a good feeling. So, this game was released in 1994 for the American Sega Genesis market. Came to the European Mega Drive market in March 1994. It's an early 94 game, which is still a late release. Kind of. The game size is of 8 megabits, that in pleb terms translates to 1 megabyte. Now, this game was developed by Real Time Associates under the license of the comic strips called Making It, where Normy is the main character. Let's go ahead and talk about Real Time Associates a little bit, shall we? This American company was founded in 1986 when David Warhol gathered former Mattel employees to develop new games for the Intellivision. When the console got its second win after the video game industry collapse. Real Time Associates then developed around 25 new games for the Intellivision. David Warhol, up until then, had mainly been a video game composer and an audio engineer. He even had his own way of making music for the Mega Drive by composing MIDI files in Cakewalk, which is a software for DOS, and then converting them to gems, which is a pretty standard practice. However, no soundtracks for the system are credited to himself. At the time of Real Time Associates' creation, the NES just got out of Japan in, was it 1985 for America, 1986 for Europe, but the Famicom actually came out in 83. Hold on, cat. I've let the cat in, but I think that was a terrible idea, guys. Cat emergency, cat emergency. Mayday, mayday, it's a cat, it's screaming, it's yelling. What do you want? Alright, you can come and cuddle here for a bit, cat. Hey, I forgive you. I forgive you for screaming. He wants you to end sports polls forever. Dude, sports polls being bad, that's a meme. That's a bad meme. Meow, meow, interrupting the lore. God fucking damn it. Why must you interrupt the lore? Alright. Alright. So where were we? Mattel, Television, NES. So when NES got out, Real Time Associates started developing some games for it, even licensed ones such as Dick Tracy. But most notably, they were responsible for Maniacs Mansion's console version on the Nintendo platform. Much later on the TurboGrafx 16, also known as the PC Engine, they would do a much similar thing, which is the port of Loom. Now their input was throughout the years of very good quality and varied enough, not only in the video game genres covered, but also in the console platforms that it spanned across. They pretty much had a game for every system, you name it, at the time. Just so NES, TurboGrafx 16, they started out with Intellivision, they were Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, NES, Game Boy, Game Gear, Master System. They were on the Genesis, they were on the Sega fucking Pico, and they were on on the Saturn and on the PlayStation and even on the Nintendo 64. They did good business with Sega, as they worked on the Saturn, most notably with Bug, this game. They also made a port of Crusader No Remorse on the Saturn, which I find to be very interesting. I didn't know that I had a port on consoles. Crusader No Remorse, the DOS game, the brutal DOS game. And then on the Sega Pico, as pre-announced, they developed games such as Disney, The Lion King Adventures at Pride Rock, and Disney's Pocahontas, Riverbed Adventures. Looking forward to the Mega Drive Pocahontas, it looks amazing. And then again, Richard Scarry's Huckle and Lowly's Busiest Day Ever. Busiest. Sorry. Let's say that again. Richard Scarry's Huckle and Lowly's Busiest Day Ever. There you go. And last but not least, Tales and the Music Maker. I gotta get a Pico eventually. It's probably a good streaming machine. But what did Real Time Associates develop on the Mega Drive? So you see there's kind of a trend going on with the Pico, you know, games for kids and stuff like that. Now, their work on the Mega Drive probably planted the seeds for their long-standing production of an entertainment for kids. The Pico games, I think, came after they started making games for the Mega Drive. Now, 1 year before developing those Pico games, they made Barney's Hide and Seek game. It's notoriously a game for kids. So much of a game for kids that they had to rebrand the Sega Genesis label from red to blue, because red was too scary. But it wasn't too scary for the Bearstein Bears Camping Adventure, which is the other game they did for the Mega Drive. Both of these came out in 1993. Now, later on in 1994 came Normy's Beach Babe Rama and the Death and Return of Superman, although Real Time Associates on that is only credited for music and sound. And that's where Warhol's MIDI converter comes to place. Wink, wink. And again, Warlock, both for Super Nintendo and Mega Drive. I actually have that one. Looks super interesting. Hey, Biff. Alrighty. Now, in 1995, further proving themselves in the respectable kids division, they developed again for both of the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive, Nickelodeon Real Monsters, which was their last entry. Fucking cable on the Mega Drive, and the last game to come out from them before Bug, which was in 1995. All right. One last mention for their output that again ties back to their edutainment thread and again covers every fucking system ever made back in the day. They had a game on anything. And I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna prove it to you with a commercial. Let me find my VLC source here. Probably got rid of it by accident as usual. Yeah. All right, this is something, guys. So strap on. Oh man, I don't have VLC source anymore. All right, I'll make one. Hold on. No, they didn't have a game on the links, but you know how it goes with the links. Nobody did. Only Epics. All right, you guys ready? Fucking press the wrong. Oh my god. Okay. So I have to re-add the capture, and OBS is finicky with VLC, which I shouldn't use anyway, but there you go. All right. So this is a commercial, guys, for the Dig, which is a console, and that's the soundtrack you were listening to earlier. This is a handheld, even danker than the Lynx. This is the 2008 Sonic the Hedgehog for the Leapfrog Dig. A handheld console with mostly educational games from licensed properties such as Disney, Marvel, and Nickelodeon.
Dig. Sonic the Hedgehog teaches spelling for 2nd through 4th grades.
Purpose. Supply. Actually, they actually have pretty good sound on hardware, looks like. Sounds like, rather. Solid. No joke, actually. 2008. What the fuck? Now, Real-Time Associates still exists to this day, and is still run by David Warhol. That's my developer shock. Now strap in, because the heavy stuff is gonna happen. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be strong, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be long. Right, so. Now, after having looked at all of that, the game at hand, which is Normy's Beach Baby Rama, is probably the game that they made, which is the most eradicated within their origins. As Intellivision video game developers. The roots of the company traces back to Intellivision in more ways than you can imagine. Normy's Beach Baby Rama's lead designer, Keith Robinson, is the author of a comic strip known as Making It. Making It stars Normy on the right. There you go. It's the main character. To get a job or to get a tan? Everybody in chat, vote. Nobody would have thought it would have been Normy. This is the heart of Making It. A comic strip about a dude on the beach. The 1 for tan, 3 for job. You guys not know what fun is. Wage cuckery. Now, the first issue of Making It, appeared, here it is, in a single paper, 1 page, on the 15th of August 1985, and it was named Making It at a Beach. It appeared on Easy Reader, a magazine at Hermosa Beach, California, 2,000 miles from Chicago. The editor then later asked Robinson if he could do a weekly Life at the Beach comic, and the series started on November the 12th. I haven't properly looked at this, but it looks like it's pretty complicated. It's like that game, and then you win. And you win something. You win a house. Quiz for residents of Hermosa Beach. Do I really belong where I am? In the last elections, I voted. So even by the beginning, it's pretty sarcastic, satirical, politic, whatever you want to call that kind of comic strips. So the next year, Robinson started expanding the Making It scope beyond the beach, until a New York publisher bought the rights to print a collection of the cartoons in 1992 called 5 Years of Making It. Making It then got distributed to newspapers as well. In the characters, has to be noted here, is Professor Warhol, inspired by the Real-Time Associates founder David Warhol, which we literally just now were looking at. Beyond there, you know, that guy, this guy. It's blonde. Our picture already has gray hair. Boo boo. You can actually find a whole cast of characters and the whole website over here, which I had to recover, so to speak, through the Wayback Machine, because it seems to be abandoned. Most unfortunately, as the author Kit Robinson died in just a couple years ago in 2017. Perhaps most interestingly, though, making it got into Playboy, but it's hard to find those strips, as contractually it was not possible to upload them on the website, which is not active anymore, as we see it. Now, the first Playboy issue with Making it would be this issue, September 1988, with Jessica Hahn on the cover. Now, in much later and recent years, Making it made political jokes as well, but always lightheartedly enough that Robinson himself would share the offended reactions on the website. Alright, let's actually look at this. I got a random one. Should be good. So they're in the beach. She's like, who's that on the magazine? Ryan Lochte, gold medal Olympian in Rio. He and his teammates got drunk, vandalized a public restroom, urinated all over the place, paid off the guards, and then lied to the police about it. What? Why didn't anyone tell me that's an event now? I could have won the gold. So that's the kind of comic strip Normy is. Just to get everybody in line here. Everybody in sync with what we're about to play. Yeah. So there's actually a comic here that they made to advertise the game. So why don't we go ahead and read this one? Can try to read it on the stream, so I'm gonna have to zoom it and stuff. It's gonna be awkward, but let's do it. All right. Hey dudes, check out my video game. It starts with me just hanging out with these bitching beach goddesses. Bitching beach goddesses. Oh, I didn't read this beforehand. Persephone, goddess of sunshine. Daphne, goddess of surf music. Thalia, goddess of warm sand. Valerie, goddess of clean air. Moon Unit, goddess of big waves. And Bambi, goddess of snow cones. That's the best goddess. Help Normy. Suddenly an evil alien ship beams them aboard. I go after them thanks to Space and Time Suntan Lotion. Space and Time Suntan Lotion SPF 4. Cool. Soon I'm dodging woolly mammoths and pterodactyls in prehistoric New Jersey to battle the mighty Cayman Og. Nice. So you go back in time. It's spoiling the levels, but that's fine. I gotta read this. Then it's knights, flying dragons, and catapults in medieval England as I face the Princess Cuffy. They don't mention that her full name is Cuffy Cummings. Explored. Eat crust, Puff. Suddenly it's 1973 and I'm outrunning lag rats in my clash with mad scientist Professor Warhol inside his latest invention, video games. Uh-oh. Now it's a jungle and I have to outwit Three Stooges worshipping natives as I track down Schlump of the Apes or something. Outer space, it's robots and bug-eyed monsters in zero gravity as I prepare to combat alien warlord Grumpelt. Yeah, descending through heck to battle Lucifer and the eternally condemned. Gym teachers, politicians, Elvis impersonators, etc., etc. Gym teachers. Can I defeat these dastardly villains and return the babes and good karma to the beach? Only with your help, so get my game. Pretty good ad. Normy's Beach Baby-Rama, based on the nationally syndicated cartoon Making It by Keith Robinson. Designed by Keith Robinson and Real-Time Associates. Released by Electronic Arts for the Sega Genesis system. 1994, Keith Robinson, Beach Baby-Rama, the Electronic Arts, Sega Genesis TM, Sega NT. No animal, babe, or Normy was hurt in making this video game. Get a job, get a tan, a survival guide for today. Guide. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I got the overview of the stages. It should be pretty interesting. Shlomo, what's a Shlomo? What's up, Jiggy? What's up, Bo? Haven't seen your meme. Oh man. Let me click the meme. I'm a super fucking Saiyan in your meme. I became a Super Saiyan. Super Saiyajin. Is Zenki's meme, guys. Oh, Goaty's Beach Baby-Rama. I like that. Like being in a Baby-Rama. Alright, pretty good. Thanks to the meme. I give it 3 YouTube stars. It's a pretty good rating. Alright. So, Making It and Normy sure were successful throughout the years. They've been active recently until dude's untimely death at the age of 61. But that is not what Keith Robinson is mostly known for. Not even close, actually. Let's clear the comic shock. Let's move on to the Intellivision shock, the good part of the stream. And we're gonna go back in time to the very first console wars. 2 pictures are worth 1,000 words. And this very old and famous shot, you see the guy comparing like a baseball game on the Intellivision on the right with a baseball game on the Atari on the left. To try and say that Intellivision was technically better, which was true, but you know. Yeah, the Intellivision is awesome. What is your problem? Both look like... now, the Intellivision and the Atari were responsible for the first console wars, with the Intellivision having the upper hand, technically speaking, with the hardware, but hardly so in sales, especially at first. Now, with the video game industry collapse in 1983 and most companies pulling out of the industry in 1984, the Intellivision was the only surviving system. It was still sold in the States, which is a pretty big deal. Robinson was there from the start when in 1981 Mattel decided to stop outsourcing Intellivision games to independent contractors. He was quickly promoted from programmer to manager, and he just oversaw most of the games that were going on in there at the time. Programmers had to stay anonymous at that time, though. Mattel Toys, that owned Mattel Electronics, did not want the programmers' names to be known, as that would constitute a risk for them to be enticed away from the company and into the competition, like Atari or Activision. Everything had to be anonymous. The alias they came up with was a result of an interview in 1982 with a TV guide. Now, the interviewer was told that they had to change all of their names. The writer, though, still wanted a cool descriptor, like a group name that would work in the piece for the magazine, but the application software team over at Mattel Electronics wasn't gonna sell it. It was gonna do it for a cool name. So, said writer, hearing that the developers' brainstorming sessions were called the Blue Sky Sessions, proposed the name Blue Sky Rangers. Now, the vice president, Gabriel Bohm, did not like that at all, so of course Keith Robinson designed the logo with his face on it. I mean, it's pretty spot on. Here's a picture of Keith Robinson with his beloved Intellivision, also author of the Making It comic strips rather. Now in 1984, I got a better picture. Hold on, look at that. It's a pretty good picture with a burger hat. In 1984, after the crash of the industry, Mattel got rid of its Mattel Electronics division and handed the whole Intellivision brand to INTV Corporation, founded by former Mattel Electronics executive Terry Valesky. Now, INTV actually managed to keep selling the Intellivision until 1991, when they had to close down as well. It wasn't over for the console, though. Now, With the advent of the internet and the World Wide Web in 1995, Robinson put out a Blue Sky Rangers website. So this is like shortly after the Normy video game came out. He put out a Blue Sky Rangers website celebrating the lore behind the whole, Intellivision thing. In 1997, then, Robinson and Stephen Roney, another Blue Sky Ranger, acquired from Ultimate Corporation the rights to the Intellivision. Now, Ultimate with two T, Ultimate, but double T, had previously got the rights from Valesky when Mantle Electronics had shut down. And so they founded Intellivision Productions. They started dumping ROMs and developing emulators for computers, then sharing the so-called Intellipacks for free on the website for the Blue Sky Rangers. In 1999, the first Intellivision Lives compilation was distributed via mail order. Over 50 games were included along with TV commercials, developer interviews, box artworks, and even unreleased games. The collection also had staff credits that were, as mentioned above, not included in the original game. That wasn't nearly the last of those kind of collections, though, as he kept releasing and refined them, even adding stuff such as documentary, the Intellivision story, which he narrated himself. I'm not gonna look for it now, but I have an Intellivision Lives collection myself. It's on the PS2. I have the PlayStation 2 one. It's very good. It's got the unreleased game as well and all of that. Maybe somebody remembers watching me stream that. I gotta go back to it and clear the second loop of Tower of Doom. No, the second loop of Thunder Castle. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nolan Bushnell stunt double. Who's that? All right. Now, Robinson was basically Mr. Intellivision for a long time, throughout various eras of the video game industry and of the Intellivision along with the video game industry. Before and after the collapse of the industry, and even during it, then through the 90s and even the 2000s, it was still there. You say that the reason why Intellivision survived the crash of 1983 is because it had loyal fans. Now that Robinson, as we mentioned, has sadly passed away in 2017 at the age of 61, the face of the Intellivision is the one of Tommy Tallarico, CEO. Is campaigning to advertise their new upcoming console, which I'm very excited to see in action, and the Intellivision Amico, which means friend in Italian and probably another billion languages, featuring brand new games in old Intellivision style with 2.5D graphics if you like. The Amigo is not supposed to be an emulation box or a console that plays old games. It's a brand new thing. As you see, it even retains the questionable for 2000 and whatever it's going to come out, 2021, controller design. But it's too early to talk about it. Watch the reveal trailer if you're interested. I think the reveal trailer was extremely well done and promising. I have pretty good hopes. If you think it's a new system that's going to make basically 2D games or like retro games. But I don't know. There's a pretty big name behind it, so. Now, something that I'm happy to see generally, the first vegan, Tommy Tallarico is vegan, whatever. Now, he's very prodigal, openly discussing and divulging what he can about the Amico. Even going as far as to individually leaving comments to numerous YouTube videos, responding on Twitter to like literally everybody. He's being very down to earth and honest about whatever. Of course, most people know Tommy Tallarico as being the composer for Earthworm Jim, actually on the Mega Drive. Speaking of Earthworm Jim, that ties in back. Just 1 hour ago, they ended a live stream of the first or something design meeting for a brand new Earthworm Jim game that will be developed for the Intellivision Amico with the whole original team reassembled for it. Now, I don't have the hots for Earthworm Jim in particular. I know it's one of those really beloved games that people remember, so great for them to gather attention to the Amico by redoing that. Tommy is the CEO of that and is known for that game in particular and whatnot. They also, in the trailer, if you watch the trailer, it's gonna have like 20 brand new games to launch, and they got the Toe Jam and Earl. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, they got a Toe Jam and Earl license too, so they're gonna make a Toe Jam and Earl game for the Intellivision Amico as well, and they're gonna make like remakes of the classical Amico games. Are the controllers supposed to be iPods? You know, that's a good question. The most worrying thing is the controller. I think it's supposed to have a touchpad at the top instead of the classic numbers from a television controller, and the D-pad is basically yeah, and then the D-pad. We'll see. I fully expect the design to fully change. You know, that's just from the reveal. Amiga Amico, Compumate. Yeah, good point, Mitrofield. Jiggy got a point there. Jiggy's got a great point. I think Earthworm Jim gets too much credit from those people that remember it fondly. At the same time, it gets too much bashing from the people that talk it down. Like, I played it, honestly. Great design, music, humor, music, not too. The animations, but then the kind of like some stuff like hit detection and fuck you player, you're gonna die in the spit, stuff like that. But still a good game. I liked it. So it's a good shit, good shit. So that was my Intellivision shock. So most of the lore shock is now done. Hope you enjoyed that. But it's not a lore shock if you don't joke about the composer. The composer for Normy's bitch Babe Rama is not Tommy Tallarico. He is not David Warhol, who also had a system to make music on the Mega Drive. It is Eric Swanson. I'm actually not familiar with the guy, but I looked him up a little bit. It's not too much to say. But this is a composer for the game, properly nicknamed FM in the game's credits. This is a nickname. He worked for Real Time Associates, mainly, or like exclusively, and collaborated a lot with Greg Turner. Pretty small picture, let's put him on the side. He still composes for stuff such as cinema or television. His work on the industry is perhaps in Zombies Ate My Neighbors, 1993, the Mega Drive version. Other real-time games would follow very copiously until 1995, after which the average is of 1 video game credit per year, according to Moby Games, so not too much. Interestingly, Resident Evil 5 figures in 2009 as credited as scoring editor, and also Lost Planet 2 in 2010 as Pro Tools operator. That doesn't sound too much like a composer's job, but it makes sense if you put it in perspective with his work on EverQuest 2 as a programmer. He has a company website over here, and he's also contributed 1 track to Kinect Star Wars. Now, as much as the lore shock is almost done, please do remind me to go through the manual after this clip that we're gonna play that features both Tommy Tallarico and Keith Robinson. Just called Remembering Keith Robinson and Intellivision. Stole from YouTube channel Electric Playground Classic. Let's go.
Pitfall on the Atari 2600. Major League Baseball on Intellivision. You're out. If these games strike a chord deep within you, as they do with me, then you're gonna love this next piece, where we talk to the pioneers of classic gaming.
am here with one of the original programmers from Intellivision. Was it a good experience?
It was fantastic. It was like working in a college dorm. Mattel wasn't sure that this video game thing was really going to last, so they just kind of hired people right out of college. They got them cheap, no experience, threw them into whatever spare rooms they had around Mattel and said, well, do something. And within a year, people were investing around the world based on what a bunch of crazy 20-year-olds were doing at Mattel.
For years, I've been on your television screen comparing Atari and Intellivision.
Let's look at this thing here.
Isn't this a wonderful machine? There's a plastic membrane inside. There's actually no moving parts inside of this, a nice plastic membrane that has that nice squishy feel. The computer on this inside of this was a 16-bit processor.
Wow, that was high-tech.
Right, with the games in the late 80s, the Nintendo, when it first came out, was 8-bit. So we were about 10 years ahead of our time.
And now you've come out with a CD that you can play on your PC or on your Macintosh computer.
Right, so that people like you don't have to carry all of this with you at all times.
This is kind of fun,
with another 50 games stacked in front of you. All of this material on one CD, so you can play it on a PC or Mac.
What was it like to be a part of the market when it actually just bottomed out?
A lot of these games turned out to be very bad. The E.T. game that Atari came out with, some people attribute that game alone for destroying the video game industry because it was so bad.
E.T.'s an interesting story in that, yep, it may not have been the greatest game, but, you know, it was a game, but it was the fastest game done ever. I left the challenge open to anyone else in Atari, anyone else who was willing to pick up this challenge at the time. No one else wanted to. I was the only person who would stand there and guarantee that I would deliver them a game in 6 weeks, and that's what I did.
The competition at the beginning was kind of a friendly, yeah, we want to beat the other guys, so you'd work 24 hours a day. As it went on, the same pressure was there, but now it wasn't quite so much friendly. It was kind of like, we've got to survive now, so we're working 24 hours a day.
Did you guys feel like you got enough recognition for the work that you were doing?
Oh, sure. With Pitfall and its success, 3.5 million units, when the company decided to tag my name in the commercial credit, I knew that it had gone to another level.
MTV came out, which initially just showed videos 24 hours a day with very few commercials, and kids stopped using their TVs to play video games and started watching videos all day long. Atari got out of the business, Coleco got out of the business, Mattel got out of the business, and the only person who stayed in was the former marketing director at Mattel. He's the one who kept Intellivision going through the 80s. In 1985 and 1986, Intellivision was the only game system still being sold in the United States.